Hey everybody, Justin Watches Movies here. Hope everybody is doing well. It's time for another collab movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie with the awesome YouTuber of Douglas Beamer. If you guys don't know who Douglas Beamer is, make sure to go over his channel after this video, subscribe to his channel, tell him Justin Watches Movies sent you. We're here today to talk about the very first Tomb Raider movie that was based off of the PlayStation video game. I played this game a lot growing up and I loved watching Tomb Raider as a kid. But before I go more in depth with my thoughts on this movie, Douglas Beamer is going to share his thoughts on the first Tomb Raider, and he'll be joining me later on the second Tomb Raider movie review as well. So Douglas, what did you think about the first Tomb Raider movie?
Hello everyone, my name is Doug and I am here in collaboration with Justin, who was gracious enough to let me be on his channel and collab with him. And today I'm going to talk with him about the very first video game adaptation I ever saw in 2001, and that was Tomb Raider, starring Angelina Jolie. Now, when this movie was first announced, I had no preconceived notions about this film, thinking it was gonna suck or hope that it was gonna be faithful to the video games. I was just happy we were gonna see this come to light. I'm not much of a gamer now, more than I was back then, so I did watch my stepbrother play a lot. And the first and the second and a lot of Revelation, from what I remember, were the ones I remembered the most, and of course the iconic dinosaur in a few of those games. Now, Tomb Raider was just a massively fun game to watch, and when the movie was announced, me and my stepbrother, we were all over it. So when the trailer was released and we saw this,
don't start.
we went, oh my god, we gotta see this movie. So the film stars Angelina Jolie before her days of Brad Pitt, John Voight, which is Angelina's father in real life, so I thought that was cool, Ian Glenn, and Daniel Craig before Bond. And all of them were so fascinating to see before their careers really blossomed to where they are today. And the film is about Lara Croft, troubled by her past as she races against time to collect artifacts against the evil Mr. Powell, played by Ian Glenn. He is a part of the Illuminati that plans to find these ancient artifacts and, of course, try to rule the world. And if that sounds bland to you, it is. And that's the plot, and that's all you're going to get out of it, considering the wide-span story that the video games have given us, and this is what we got for a movie. No dinosaurs, not a lot of puzzles, not a whole lot of creatures you gotta kill, just a generic plot to see the sexy Angelina Jolie gallivant around in foreign countries doing random stuff that make up the plot. And here's the truth. I didn't mind a single bit of it. And with that said, let's get into the stuff that I loved. First off, Angelina. I mean, she's gorgeous, talented even today, but at this point in time, she embodied the sexiest video game character we knew since the early to late 90s. She was perfect in this role with what little she was given to work with. With her aside, I'm actually gonna dive deeper into what constructed the film, and it's the dialogue. And I'm a sucker for dialogue, and I would have to say, in this movie, it's one of its strengths, and I love how everyone talks to one another. It's like almost like a calm business proposition with some violence sprinkled in with a lot of wit and humor to boot. I would say if they took the dialogue and the settings along with making more bigger stakes, I think that this film would have been seen as a better adaptation. And of course, if you want to add on more things that I loved, it was Bryce and the butler. I think they were really good. Bryce was a good counterpart to Laura's adventure-seeking endeavors as the tech-savvy counterpart, and then the butler who's only just trying to look out for Lara and stuff like that. It was all well and good, but the biggest thing that I really loved was the stage sets built to convey the scope of the world Lara was in. Despite the special effects being dated to an extraordinary degree, the sets felt lived in, like consumed over time. And I also kind of love how self-aware it is in being between characters, dealing with the situation at hand. They just never quite took it too seriously. It was just kind of like a fun board game that they were all playing, and they just kind of didn't like each other. Moving on from what I loved to just what I liked, I liked the villain. Ian Glenn is my favorite actor, one of my favorite actors, and he really only just does enough to show off his smooth talk and villainy, but he does a good job. I just wish they did more with his character. And like, they could have put in like how much more he was tied to Laura's character if that was going to be a thing. And maybe he had more to do with the Illuminati than just like track artifacts down. And also what I really liked was the story itself. It's a bit bland, yeah, but in terms of its mehness, it was the story we got, and it was serviceable enough. What I just strongly hated, and even though that's a strong word to use even for a film, for me that I don't like to hate things, I really didn't like the special effects. Highly dated, almost to a laughable degree. Not because it was the point of the story, but mostly because the special effects almost seemed like a waste of time for just a quick action scene. Stone men crumple as soon as they're shot, kicked, or even if they miss their mark. Also, in retrospect to other people's opinions, I understand how this movie could be hated for its simplistic plot, wishing for more, frustrated we never got the full-on story that the video games gave us. The cheesy self-awareness is definitely someone one can hate about this film, even though I loved it. All in all, this was really a fun little movie if you don't take it too seriously given the source material. It's just as cheesy and dopey. In the end, I liked Tomb Raider, and because I don't own it, I wouldn't mind owning it on DVD. Again, because I got rid of it a few years back. What can I say? I was in a weird point in my life. Anyway, that's my review for Tomb Raider. Now I'm going to hand it back off to Justin. Thank you all so much for watching.
Thank you for joining my channel. I can't wait to talk about Tomb Raider 2 coming up soon. Tomb Raider was based off of a very popular PlayStation video game that I played a lot of, and I always remember being terrified of playing that video game because of the bears and tigers and wolves that would appear out of nowhere on screen and just attack you. I was always terrified at those moments, and I was scared playing those video games. But Tomb Raider came out when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I watched this movie constantly. And I always remember being excited over just this one scene. But rewatching it as an adult, this is a pretty bad movie. But I still remember all the fun moments of Lara Croft facing off against the Illuminati. I totally forgot that the Illuminati and Daniel Craig were in this movie. It's a cheesy, fun time. It does take a while to get into the tomb raiding aspect of the movie, but the beginning opening sequence of her fighting off against a robot, and those moments were just very cheesy, but I can't help but have a smile on my face and enjoy those moments of her facing off against that robot because it is ridiculous. And pretty much all of the action sequences in this movie are just way over the top. And there is even some awkward slow motion scenes that I don't even remember watching as a kid. But when it comes down to it, the story is very reminiscent of a Tomb Raider game. It is her trying to find these artifacts and then trying to save the world. That's what I remember when playing the Tomb Raider games. So that aspect I really do enjoy. This movie is just a lot of fun. It's a bad film, but it's a film that you love when you watch it. I remember watching it as a kid and just really enjoying these over-the-top, ridiculous action scenes. And even as an adult, I was worried to watch it because I was afraid that it wouldn't hold up to what I thought about it as a kid. And I still loved it. I still loved watching these ridiculous action sequences, her on her motorcycle. I would say that Tomb Raider is one of the better video game movies. It's one that's trying to be like the video game, but not crafting a really strong story either. I think this movie relays heavily on Lara Croft kicking butt and just having ridiculous, over-the-top action sequences. I'm going to go ahead and give Lara Croft Tomb Raider a B-. I am looking forward to seeing the new Tomb Raider film. I think it will be better than this one, but I don't think it will have that nostalgia that this one did have with Angelina Jolie. Thank you, Douglas Beamer, for joining me on my channel to talk about Tomb Raider. Can't wait to talk about Tomb Raider 2 coming up soon. Make sure to go over to Douglas's channel, subscribe to him, show his channel some love. And you guys are the best as always. This is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.